Welcome to this Tutor to You Criminology topic video for WJEC Level 3 Applied Criminology. In this video, we're focusing on domestic abuse. Domestic abuse refers to acts that are illegal and committed against people within relationships that exist between a partner, former partners, and children that they are responsible for. Often referred to as domestic violence, there are different forms of domestic abuse that can take place, including physical violence, psychological violence, including coercive control, sexual violence, or financial violence, that is, controlling an individual's access to resources. In England and Wales, there were 1.5 million occurrences of domestic abuse recorded in 2022. Yet estimates suggest that there is a far higher figure of domestic abuse that goes unreported, what is called the dark figure of domestic abuse. The National Centre for Domestic Violence compiles such estimates and suggests that in 2022 there are an estimated 2.4 million victims of domestic abuse in England and Wales. Whilst the majority of these victims are female, there has been a substantial increase in the number of males being victims of domestic abuse in recent years. It's estimated that of the 2.4 million victims of domestic abuse, 1.7 million were women, and that women were more likely to be repeat victims of abuse compared to the estimated 700,000 male victims. However, even these estimates are thought to be conservative, with other agencies suggesting that during their lifetime, 1 in 3 women will be a victim of domestic abuse at some point. Stereotypically, the offender profile for domestic abuse is largely based upon males, husbands, partners, and former partners, who are more likely to be the offenders in domestic abuse cases. But domestic abuse is not exclusively a male crime. The offender will typically be in a relationship with their victim, or previously have been in a relationship, and look to exert either physical or psychological control over their partner. Of domestic abuse cases that are reported, 17% of victims stated they were separated from their partner, whilst a further 10% had divorced their partner who had subjected them to domestic abuse. This demonstrates that leaving a relationship is often not enough for abuse to stop. A small percentage, just 2% of victims, had been in a same-sex marriage or civil partnership, while the majority of offenders were reported to be male at 73% of offenders. There is a dark figure of domestic abuse, largely because the crime occurs out of the public view, often at home where individuals are unable to witness violent and/or controlling actions. As there are few witnesses to domestic abuse, it is often left to the victim to report the crime, and for many reasons this may not happen. Actions such as psychological control or financial control may not be perceived as abusive behaviour by the victim. Other victims may be fearful of repercussions or an escalation in the abuse should they report it to the police. The Crime Survey of England and Wales estimates that only 1 in 10 female victims of domestic abuse will report it to the police, which creates a lower level of awareness in the public. Furthermore, the majority of domestic abuse incidents do not include physical violence, which could lead to individuals not reporting the act because they are unaware it is an offence. For example, coercive behaviour or psychological manipulation, and this has further implications for public awareness of domestic abuse. There are many campaigns, both national and regional, that look to raise awareness of the impacts and causes of domestic abuse, with most raising awareness and offering practical support to victims, such as financial aid, temporary housing, and assistance in leaving an abusive partner. Women's Aid operate nationally and look to raise awareness of domestic abuse against women, amongst other issues. Domestic Violence UK similarly look to raise awareness of issues surrounding domestic violence, advising on how individuals can report suspected domestic abuse, offering assistance to victims, and lobbying for changes to the law. Refuge offer practical support through offering temporary housing to victims of domestic abuse, and End Violence Against Women look to raise awareness through education programs aimed at eradicating violence against women from partners, former partners, and others in society. Often these campaigns focus on key events, such as the spikes in domestic violence around football tournaments, or high-profile cases of domestic abuse against women, or the murder of women. That concludes this Tutor to You Criminology topic video for WJEC Level 3 Applied Criminology, focusing on domestic abuse. Thanks for watching.